Okay, hello. Welcome, Master Duelist, to the Master Duel Dojo. There are some who call me Tim. How are you guys doing? Mimighoul is actually just stun. That's all it is. It's just stun that's pretending to not be stun. It doesn't do real things. All it does is try to say you can't play. It's not actually fun. Don't pretend like it's fun. Good, food soon. Love to hear it. I'm late. Mrs. Dojo made me late. I wanted to be here earlier. The reason is a cherry pie, though. So I have cherry pie. Hey, Jaden. Mainly Fiendsmith winning. Nice. Well, if it's Mimighoul Fiendsmith, you could just swap out the Mimighoul for something better. Like Bestial. Or anything else. So I wanted to be here earlier. And I think I need to my, actual stream start time for myself to be 1:45 because it doesn't work at 2. I know I need to be here earlier, but Mrs. Dojo thinks it doesn't take anything. I'm licking the plate because the side of it was sticky. I don't know. I would have to try Mimighoul before I say it's fun. It is only 4 URs, but that is still 4 whole URs. Which is a lot. Maybe on the alt, but I don't have Fiendsmith on the alt, so then it's a lot more than 4. Can't eat this pie. Oh, fuck me. I don't think I have cash. Oh my god, I'm a slob. I'm eating over my plate and I just slobbed cherry all over myself. I don't know what I haven't. There's very little on the alt. I'm gonna set a 1:45 timer. I'm gonna watch right now. Where the heck is it? Alarm. I have a 1:44 watch or time. That's like God. That's my actual cutoff date time because I don't know. I just need to get stuff done, and I need to get the stream rolling, and then it plays an ad, and I'm sure there's settings or something, but whatever. Okay. Hello, Twitch. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm just reorganizing my own brain. Okay. On the docket today, we have to talk about quadrant theory. We've got to check replays, and then we have duel room the rest of the time. Just unlimited duel room. People like, oh, Branded meta now, let me quit. But it's like, Branded isn't even meta like Fiendsmith. Branded is very popular. There's not good ways to check numbers on it. Let's actually try. So. Bam. Archetype. Branded. There's no way it's that low volume. It's got to be... Alright. Let's search Albaz decks. 400 Albaz decks right now. And how do we search for... There's 4 times as much Engraver decks. But let's do, without Ash, 400 Fiendsmith Snake Eyes. What else is exclusive? Like White Forest. So let's cut Diabell. 1100. Like, as much as I hate Branded, I'm not going to be like it's super toxic, since it only has a small board presence depending on your hand. I only get disappointed when I have a hand to out their board. When I don't have a hand to out their board. Branded is frustrating to, like, grind through. Like, I got Nibiru'd, and then set up a whole bunch of things after, and then he, like, so I, like, still had full board after getting Nibiru'd. Punk Fiendsmith. So let's cut, what is this one called? Rising Scale. That was only 100. Sprite decks. 930 decks. What do we have left? These are Fiendsmith Bestial, Tearlaments, Pearly. Oops, they don't even play that one. We back. Okay, Sam. Voiceless Voice can go. Centurion. All right, there's 700. I just took the time loss against Branded because they happened to top deck another Despian card when they already had a fine hand. So there's like 700 Fiendsmith decks right now. And I don't know if I've missed archetype, like Ubel. So if we cut out Ubel. Look at all these things that we had to delete to, like, see just Fiendsmith decks. Ash, D-Bell Star, the Punk thing, Sprite Blue, Tearlaments, Pearly, Centurion, Voiceless Voice, Ubel. And are there still more other, like, different Fiendsmith decks? No, these are looking like pure Fiendsmith now. Like, Bestial I will count as the same deck. No, I don't see anything funky. Mimighoul. Oh, Memento. All right. That was not very many. So it's like 640 pure Fiendsmith decks to 400 Ubel decks, or 400 branded decks in Untapped. Okay. What do we do now? I need to come back over here. We're not gaming just yet. Almost gaming. We need to make a YouTube video. And I need to pull up a thing for myself to look at. And I'm just going to just speak off the cuff. Okay, I lost my everything. 15-10, that's your ratio in WCK. 9 of those losses were on a streak that's still going. That's rough, buddy. Welcome in, Ark. Welcome in, Sundry. You're on an 8-game win streak? Well, that's awesome. Too bad I got smushed. That's not like sarcasm. That's too bad. 1 second every game today. How is the pie? The pie is great. I feel like it could be a little sweeter. But Mrs. Dojo, like, hates sweet. Like, anything that's sweet, she's like, oh, it's too sweet. I won 8 coin flips. I won those 8 games. Lost 9 flips, lost 9 games. Yeah. It is. We actually are going to talk about that. Well, aren't you just a awesome, skillful duelist sundry if you're losing the flip and winning the game? Miss Dojo usually has taste, but not. I don't agree here. I want to like finish the pie so that I'm not just eating pie, but I don't want to just shovel it all in my mouth. Like I'm not ready to finish it. Keep feeling so skilled and talented with Max C glued to my grip. Run more cards in your deck. Okay, we have a lesson. We have to check replays. Not gonna lie, I've noticed something out of the Zexal trio in terms of power levels. What are you talking about? What does that mean? And welcome in. Hello, Zeralt. Welcome to the dojo. I don't even know who Zexal Trio is. Sharks, Galaxy, Utopia. What about these three? You're playing 40 and always drawing snashes too, but my opponent 60 cards drew the one availer. That's super frustrating. I hate when 60 card decks have specifically cross out. Okay, we'll do replays. In the replay, so if you do exclamation mark replay, you can put it in there, or during the replay section, you can redeem. Doesn't matter. It's all the same to me. You were shifted 4 times with no called by. That's upsetting. And 3 back-to-back 60 card piles draw cross out called by and meet like W2AF. Yes. So the Zexal trio all has crazy strength, but they all have one major weakness that counters each other. And what do you mean by that? Like, are we talking the anime or the actual game? Yeah, because I'm thinking the same thing, Ark. Like, are we talking anime? Because I'm power to you. I'm not interested. I'm interested in the real cards that we can duel each other with. Okay. I have 3 more cherries here. I don't have a place to put I'm going to put this over there. Hold on. There. I won't step on it. Over there. Sharks are pretty much immortal. Galaxy has crazy boss monsters. Utopia has pretty good diversity when it comes to starting extending. So what's their weakness that counters each other? Like, how does Galaxy beat Utopia or whatever? Like, is this like a rock, paper, scissors thing? Because I don't think... The area recall exceeds. Sharks easily dies to board breakers. No spell or trap negates. Yes, we're listening. Galaxy Ice has very massive choke points. So what's the like... Okay, so how does it... How do the others beat the other deck? Like, this is not a rock, paper, scissors trio. Like, good and bad matchups, like, kind of don't exist, with the exception of, like, floodgates. It's like going first versus anything is, you're gonna have a huge, like, going second against anything is gonna be a huge uphill battle. I can't think of like another, I can't think of things that are like, I really specifically don't want to play against this. It's literally just floodgates with every deck. You want to do full tier, full power tier mirrors already? Well, you can go in the duel room and see if somebody does. So I don't see these decks as like countering each other, because there's also so much non-engine in the game that like playing, you just don't let your opponent do things. What floodgate? Like, you can put D barrier in any of these decks. Like, if you're having an Xyz tournament, just D barrier. Arc accidentally logged out of Word and can't log back in. Oh no. Being able to search a floodgate like doesn't, again, that's like going first. So like Utopia also sets up a huge board with several negates, like when they get to do all their things. Tachyon too. Like Tachyon searches a bunch of negates, or Galaxy Eyes, like the old style, just kills you. Or also sets up a bunch of negates. Like, I don't see them as particularly diverse in playstyle. Except Utopia can both search floodgates. Being dependent, so like then if you're saying now that Utopia is dependent on normal summons, that's their weakness, and then they're weak to hand trap interaction, which is not something that, so then like if Sharks can play a low a low engine deck, a low amount of engine and a whole bunch of hand traps, that beats Utopia, because Utopia needs to force their normal summon to resolve. And then because Sharks have so much non-engine, Galaxy Eyes sending them first, they put up a weak board, Galaxy Eyes can break the board. And then, I don't know, Utopia sets up a huge board of negates, and because Galaxy Eyes wants to go second, they let Utopia get set up on purpose, and then, I don't know, like something like that would make sense. At least like follows a logic. Like, but I don't believe in any of it. You've wasted so much of my time already. I will not. No Sharks, no Utopia, no Galaxy Eyes. We're done. I'm just gonna yap about whatchamacallit, Quadrant Theory. I appreciate the effort. You like the decks. Great. That is awesome. The room code is not correct. It's pinned. I need a mod to update the Stream Elements room code. I told Sundry that I'm not going to update it. I don't like the command. I think you should check the pin. The pin is more useful. I lost my, what I was going to say again. Okay. What is the command? I don't even know. room command update. You guys did this. You can just delete the command, and then when they do it, you could also make it say, like, check the pins. Ask somebody else to check the pins for you. Somebody said it's some kind of mobile issue. Like, you can't check pins easily on mobile or something. I don't know. Alright, yes. Quadrant theory is from Magic, and it applies to Yu-Gi-Oh! Not in the exact same way, but in a, like, in the same way. Because apparently they say on mobile you can't see it. I don't know. All right, we're starting YouTube so that I'm blown out mobile users. I don't know. I think you should be able to see it. Refresh my refresh their streams. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have sympathy for somebody that doesn't know how to operate it. Okay, we're doing the YouTube thing. I've got to cut this, and I'm gonna stumble over this because I have some different thoughts. I also need this over here because there were two things I need to look at. Hello, Nick. Wrong thing. Why is there an unpheasant by your head? Why don't you have an unpheasant by your head? You don't like it? Oh, my damn music isn't working either. I always need to reset that. Where is it? This one? Let me turn that down. Because I don't like this song. Okay. This is in the wrong spot. Jeez Louise, professional streamer. All right, we're doing the YouTube thing, and then we're doing replays, and then we're doing Duel Room. And this is Twitch exclusive. Everything there, Twitch exclusive. We start now. Okay. I always feel stupid doing this. Welcome, Master Duelist, to the Master Duel Dojo. There are some who call me Tim. I feel stupid doing this. I don't know how to... I wrote this thing, but reading it out loud sounds stupid. I updated my tier list and you don't know the sauce. That's okay. That's fine. I'm not tryharding this. All right, stop it. Welcome, Master Duelist, to the Master Duel Dojo. There are some who call me Tim. Liking, commenting, and subscribing, watching for as long as you can is one of the best ways to support me, and it helps me keep doing this instead of stocking grocery store shelves. If you've got any questions after hours, hop into the Discord. The dojo stays open even when the stream ends. Today, we're talking about quadrant theory, which is a theory from Magic the Gathering, which is, I'm just fucking this up. Like, I should just stop. I need to stop and just record this on myself, but I can't get myself to do the editing. So maybe I just record it by I don't know. I gotta think about it. We're abandoning it. I'll give you guys, because I didn't write anything down. Wing it. So it's that my thoughts are so Hi, Noidmax. Alright, I'll figure out how to cut it. I'll keep that intro. I'm not doing it again. Okay. Because it's not just quadrant theory. There's another part to it that doesn't have any name. And I also want to say, like, you're building bad decks. Okay, let me plop this over here. Minimize that. Okay. Boo. Come over here. All right. I found this list on Reddit a while ago now. Fiendsmith was released, but this list isn't playing Fiendsmith. That's fine. It was some kind of new player asking how he can improve his deck, and he has a fundamental misunderstanding of how the game plays out, and you can tell by the deck list he has presented here. So, notably, what I would point out is Lightning Storm Droplet. Those are the biggest problems I see in this deck. And then also Airlifter Fire Engine. So I talk to a lot of new people, and they'll say things like Lightning Storm is really useful. Cards like Regeki are very useful, but they don't understand quadrant theory, and they don't understand how the game plays out. So there's 4 stages in the game. There is the opening stages of the game where you're trying to start your combo and your opponent is trying to use their interaction to stop you to have a reasonable board that they can then deal with. Then there's 3 other stages, and it doesn't go stage 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes from opening into one of these. Next is parity with a T, and this is when neither player really has anything going on, and you're both just top decking and really hoping to draw something that will swing the game in your favor. So this is many people call this the grind game, and it's where nothing is actually going on. And then there's winning and losing. It's where one player has such an overwhelming advantage that the game is basically over already. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is so blisteringly fast that the game is really 2 turns long. The first turn, the turn player who goes first starts to set up, and then if the opponent can stop them, they usually win. And if they can't stop the first player going second, you then have to fight through all of their interaction. So a deck like Rescue Ace, let's just pretend it's like something simple. So they go SP plus Turbulence, set 4. You now have to fight through 4 pieces of back row, which is multiple pieces of disruption, because they have the Destroy, the Negate, the Book of Moon, and SP. So you have to fight through all of that and still kill them. And if you're going second, that is very, very difficult to do. And the game does literally end on later turns many of the time, but the game is most often decided on the first turn of what's going to happen. And so players think that putting these cards in their deck, maybe they'll have a chance to draw it or whatever, is really good, but they don't understand the flow of the game. So you will draw your opening hand, which is 5 cards. If you go second, you draw your 6th card. And if you go first, you'll likely see also your 6th card. Maybe if the game goes long, you'll see a 7th card. So you should really only plan on counting yourself to ever draw 6 cards in a game. Everything else you search for. It's very rare that you get to draw more cards. Maxi is an exception. But you will only ever have your opening hand, basically, to play the whole game with. You do get a couple extra cards, but you can't count on drawing cards throughout the course of a game. So you can't play one of Lightning Storm in case you draw it, because that's just not likely. Even if this was Regeki, even if it was a spell card that said destroy all cards your opponent controls. These are not the replays yet. So this list was posted on Reddit, and there are some huge problems with it. I was talking to another new player, and he was asking what to cut from his deck. It wasn't this player. And I told him Lightning Storm. And he said, why? It seems really useful. It's been really useful. And I say that's literally a skill issue. Lightning Storm is like training wheels. It seems really useful, but if you go first, you have Lightning Storm in your hand, you're down a card. You only have 4 cards to play with, and you're already down another card because your opponent starts with 6 cards. And going second, Lightning Storm is useful, but only in your opening hand. So you'd want to maximize your chance of drawing it by putting as many copies in your deck as you can. But you don't want to go second. You always pick go first. There's very, very few decks that you pick go first. I mean, go second. There's very few decks that you pick go second, and those decks are built completely differently. Traditional decks, which is most decks, play to go first because you have such a huge advantage in the ability to play your cards. Even things like Fiendsmith Bestial that don't care if they go second still choose to go first. So Lightning Storm doesn't belong in this deck. And a Droplet is the same. Lightning Storm and Droplet are the same in this deck. So this deck, I would suggest cutting both of those. And I understand that these are from the bundles. This user looks like they've got the bundles here. But Lightning Storm and Droplet don't belong because if you go first, Lightning Storm does nothing on your first turn, and it is not interaction on your opponent's turn at all. Triple Tactics Talent is different because if your opponent tries to interact with you at all, Talents is a piece of interaction, and it can either... My favorite effect of it is look at their hand and put a card back, but it can often draw cards to get gas, or you can take their monster if you're going second. Droplet is a little better than Lightning Storm in just generic decks because it's a quick play, so you can set it and then activate it on your opponent's turn in order to negate an effect, but it still costs you an extra card. Droplet can be interaction on the enemy's turn. It can, but Droplet is less specific than Lightning Storm, so I would say Droplet is a better card to have just in your deck, but you still don't generally want it in your deck unless you have a surplus of cards or something else, and you want to maximize what you're doing going first. There are definitely times to play Droplet, and there's definitely times when there are monsters like in the meta that you need to play Droplet for. So if Droplet is a more complicated card, but it is mostly the same principles. So also, the ratios of how many copies of a card you want to play are completely off in this deck. So here are just some maxims or heuristics of how many you want to play. So you play 0 copies of garbage dog shit. You don't put Blue Eyes in every single deck because you don't want to ever draw it. You want to draw it 0% of the time, and it has no synergy with the rest of your deck. You play 1 copy. Being limited is a different case. Something like Bonfire, you play 3 of, but if it's limited, you have to play less. These don't count. You play 1 of things that you want to be able to search in your deck or that you have to play. So, Contain and Extinguish, you play 1 of them because you'd prefer not to draw them ever, but you need them literally in your deck to resolve Turbulence. You play 2 of things that you would like, that you're perfectly fine drawing, or if you absolutely need the second one in your deck, or things that you need to have access to in case you lose access to it. So something like Hydrant is normally a 2 of because you don't want to draw it all the time, but you absolutely need access to it. And then 3 ofs are the cards you want to draw all the time. You want to see them in your opening hand because, like I said, you're only going to get your opening hand, so you don't have a better chance to draw into more cards later. So what I would do to this deck is I would cut a Hydrant. I would cut 1 of these, the Fire Engine or Fire Attacker. I personally prefer the Engine, but it doesn't particularly matter because you're kind of playing 2 copies there, but you only want to play 1 copy of this effect because you're going to summon it from your deck with Impulse, if at all. If Airlifter was semi-limited when this user posted this deck list, it's older, Most people are only playing a single Turbulence because you only need one, and Preventer can summon it if it gets banished. The only way you lose access to Turbulence forever is if it gets banished face down with something like a Kashtira. So you really only need one Turbulence. As we said, Lightning Storm and Droplet, you're just down a card going first. You just absolutely don't need them. And then Reinforce is even worse than Extinguish and Contain. It's a like defense card, and defense cards look really good and appealing, but again, they're also literally a skill issue. So if I have Reinforce, if I've drawn this card, this could have been so many other things. It could be D-Bell Star, it could be a Hydrant, it could be one of the other monsters, it could be an Ash Blossom. But instead, it's Reinforce, and all it does is stop my opponent from killing me. So Reinforce just doesn't belong. And then this deck is technically 40 cards and a legal deck, but there's still things you need in this deck. So I added the third Airlifter. You definitely want to play 3 Ash Blossom because you need it in that opening stage when you are starting the game, going first and second. It counters things like Max C and allows you to combo, and it is good going second when your opponent starts playing. There's almost something in their combo, always something that you can Ash Blossom. Talents is fine going first and second. 1-for-1 in Small World, I don't personally like in Rescue Ace. I like the Fiendsmith stuff right now, but these are not inherently flawed cards to put in the deck. And then I would add the third Imperm here because you need to have cards that are good going first and second. Hand traps are super powerful because they're powerful. They do their effect going first and second. So their interaction at all parts in the game. So this is what I had. And I need to check if I had done any other small changes to it. I think that was it. Those are the changes I made to this list specifically. I like to cut Small World, so you can cut that if you like, but there are not more things to put in to replace Small World. You can put in a pair of Impulses, but Impulse actually has a similar problem in that it doesn't do anything going first. Sam asks, what about Crossout? And Crossout is another good card. All it does, though, so it's Crossout you can think of as an extender if you have enough of the interaction that you would be scared of yourself. So if you're playing Crossout, you then want to play something like Nibiru and Effect Veiler. You want to play all of the cards, generally, that you want to be able to cross out. So a deck like this, I would be much more comfortable playing than the previous list, but there's still more we can do. And could they take out Droll for something else? Yes, Droll could come out. Droll is fine, though. So let's just pretend this Droll is another generic hand trap. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, they could replace it with a Mourner and a Bell, or a pair of Ogres, or DD Crow, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It could even be like Skullmeister if they're on a budget. This doesn't matter. So that is really Quadrant Theory, because you don't get, that is poorly explained Quadrant Theory, because you don't get a chance to see more cards throughout the course of a game. There's no card velocity. You're not like looking through your deck, searching for something. You need every card to be maximum impact. Did you ruin my video? I hope not. And then in the extra deck, I do want to mention that this extra deck, so I do always say, if you only have 5 extra deck or whatever, so like maybe this person wants to play Linkuriboh, Phoenix, Elf, SP, and Princess, and they don't have any other cards, so they've looked at like other links and shoved 15 in there, and this is good, and I do advise shove any cards in there. That is better than literally nothing. So Cross Sheep, though, literally cannot trigger unless you Triple Tactics Talents their other extra deck monster. So I have some cuts here. So the second Phoenix, you just don't need. I don't think you need any IP at all, but we can leave one in. The sheep needs to go. These code talkers don't have any synergy, don't do anything with the deck. And then there's a couple other cards that you can add. Apollo and Axis code are very generic. You can skip those if you're on a UR Dust budget, but these are both cards that you probably should just have anyways. In this deck specifically, there's a pair of Salamangrates. So Sunlight Wolf is in the structure deck. Enraging Phoenix enables an OTK with Zelantis. So if you play Phoenix Zelantis Princess is 8,000 damage on even a full board, most of the time. And then this is 14. And then the other card that I had decided to put in here was just a Pit Knight early. I don't think it's very likely to come up, but it's better than something like Cross Sheep. So that's why I chose to put early in here. And a better Rescue Ace deck looks quite different than this. But this is at least building your deck with these thoughts in mind. So a lot of people play bad decks. So they picked a good archetype. They pick Rescue Ace or Blue Eyes or whatever like meta list. They try to copy it. They copy a meta list. They see that they don't have cards, and then they ask like, what cards can they put in? And then they put in things like Regeki, Lightning Storm, Solemn Judgment, because they look super powerful. Solemn Judgment has the opposite problem of Lightning Storm in that it's only good going first. Yes, it's super powerful, but you have such an advantage going first that you don't need to put Solemn Judgment in your deck almost all the time. Hello, Sleepy Anthony. Thank you. How are you doing? Thank you for the raid. So we're going to discard these changes and leave that Reddit list. And this is another... The Gold Staple Monster Reborn. So this is another list. This one includes Fiendsmith, and I don't see any deck building problems in this list. The only thing would be meta dependent hand traps. So here it would be Nibiru and Ghost Ogre. I'm not super comfortable with these numbers as they are, but that is a meta call for extra hand traps. Them both being 5 hand traps is perfectly acceptable and sound. And this list is from Nova Dragon in the Master Duel Meta Discord. It's just pinned in the Rescue Ace section, and I'll put it in the description. Okay. I did a shit job of that. Thank you for the raid, Anthony. Oh, the stats on my deck. Oops. Okay, you're right. I think I need to write something. I don't know. So like I'm not sure if I want to do script. So my thought with scripted content and like this kind of lesson. So like I feel like that video that I just said out loud is terrible. And this could be a skill issue that I just need to orate more, or it could just be that I need to plan it more and then do it live. That's my problem. That's the fix. I need to plan what I'm going to say more, have more coherent ideas, and then it's not a problem. So we're scrapping this. We're going to do that quadrant theory lesson again, better, another day. I don't know if I'm even streaming on Monday because I have shit to do. But we'll do better. Maybe just some prompts, help you structure your thoughts. Well, yes, okay, so by script, yes, I do mean, yes, more like that. I would do it more like that, of like, I'm not going to read a script, but like notes. The second effect of reinforce, even that useful or not really? No. it's not worth putting reinforce in your deck because if you draw it, you are down a card, and the effect of reinforce I don't even think is good. So even if it said is unaffected by everything and cannot be destroyed by battle, like forever, not forever, the whole turn, cannot be destroyed, unaffected by other card effects, and cannot be destroyed by battle, I still don't think it's worth it because it's just a Forbidden Lance. Like, people don't play Forbidden Lance. I can tell you the times I said it, actually saving stuff like Big Eye against Kashtira, and how many times. This is another statistics thing that you don't see all the times you draw it when it could have been something else. So something I'm always doing is like looking at my hand when I don't draw well, and I think like, are any of these cuttable or flex slots at all? And it's stuff, I don't know, it's like 2 copies of Fiendsmith Engraver. It's like, no, you would never not play the maximum Fiendsmith Engraver. So it's not like, that's not it. Or it's like 2 copies of Ash Blossom and the second Ash didn't do anything. Some people are bad at statistics, some guy. So another thing, why would you not play Max Engraver? No, that's what I'm saying. So like, if you draw double Engraver and the second Engraver is a dead card, it's not like you're not gonna play Max Engraver. I only drew it twice, maybe like 2.5. So what's your sample size on playing Rescue Ace? Shuffle it back with Tract? What do you mean? Tract doesn't shuffle Engraver back. I'm not sure what you're talking about. There are uses for second Engraver. And Engraver's kind of a bad example because it's like fine to draw both copies. And the Kashtira are a card design I like. Because, okay, the Kashtira specifically banishing face down I don't like. I do like cards that are good going first and second. So you go first, you play a Kashtira, and they don't want to interact with it. But then it's even better going second. So like Fenrir, and what else is there? There's Ecclesia and some of the Dogmatica cards that like have a bonus effect if your opponent has more monsters. So like, you would play them anyways. So like, Ecclesia is played in Sword Soul to get Moye. But it's even better going second because you can just special summon her if your opponent has a monster. More monsters than you. I like that card design. That is a good actual card design. So my father is diagnosed OCPD and paranoid. OCPD is obsessive compulsive personality disorder. And paranoid. Both like diagnosed personality disorders. My mom worked as a child abuse specialist pediatrician, and both of them my mom saw a lot of specific abuse cases, and my dad is paranoid. And so as a child, they were extremely, like, everything was stranger danger. Everything was stranger danger. Even like my aunts and uncles, like my parents literally made me have like passwords I couldn't even. Okay, so like the thing, like if we went to Walmart and they're like, I want to go look at the toys or whatever. They're like, okay, here's like, we have to come up with some passwords, and you cannot go with anybody for any reason, even if it's your grandma, without the password. Like, that's how paranoid they were. And they're super, super afraid of, I don't know, of me being stolen and my sisters. And because they heard a lot of confirmation bias about bad things, because people report, so the news will talk about the kid being stolen or whatever bad thing happening in the world. They do not report on all of the kids that make it home safe all the time. Is the stream being weird? I'm sorry about that. It says my connection is good. My mouth is unsynced than an anime sub. That's a shame. Error. YouTube is not remaining enough. It says Twitch is good. Twitch has dropped. So again, I do have some problem. Let me check. Nobody go away because I'm afraid that I see my Ethernet cord got unplugged at the router. I have to go plug that in. Nobody leave. Nobody leave. Beep boop. Okay. Short version. My mom, child abuse specialist. My dad, diagnosed paranoid. Um, they were extremely, extremely afraid of. Still says bad bit rate. How's it going? We're yapping about stats. Okay. My mom's child abuse specialist, pediatrician. My dad, diagnosed paranoid. They were extremely worried about stranger danger and all that. And the news understandably reports on all the bad, shocking, terrible things that happen. So if a kid gets stolen, the news says as much. And people warn about this happening because it is a terrible thing to happen. But they don't report on all of the children who come home every day safely. If the news had a sample size of like 100 families and like in your local town, and they checked in every single night, did all 100 kids get home? Your mouth is fucking unsynced. It's not funny. How do I fix that? How do I fix my mouth? I don't want to stop the stream. How to fix um okay, it says how am I now? Can you hear me now? Cuz Twitch just switched back to green. YouTube still says having problem. Blah blah blah. Audio is great, but your video is 20, 30 seconds delayed. 20 to 30 seconds is huge. That's not a little unsynced. Live. Okay. It says 0 drop frames now. I don't know if that helps it. How are we doing now? Are we doing any better? 20 seconds. Jesus. All right, we're ending YouTube stream. Hold on. We'll fix this without restarting Twitch. I don't want to restart Twitch. YouTube is gonna get